Rami X back in another video. I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, as that would be deeply appreciated. Share the video to a friend who likes what is, or just anime content in general. And with that being said, we can now begin the video. If you're watching this as a movie, well then enjoy. But this is part 5 to What If the Namikaze clan had a Dojutsu. Technically speaking, part 5 is also where we chronologically left off the series, as I recorded up to part 5. But, well, this is part 5 of the remastered version. So if I were to do this again back then, this would be like part 10 or 11. Anyways, that's besides the point, and we can now begin the video. We left off with Tsunade being named the 5th Hokage, and we briefly touched on how, well, the people of the village respected her and loved the pick and, well, loved Tsunade. The old people loved her because, well, of her relation to the Senju clan and the 1st and 2nd Hokage, and the young people loved her as it signified a new era, where a female could be Hokage, where a woman could lead the Leaf Village and protect it. With that being said, since Naruto has effectively killed all of the Sound Five, Gaara has been defeated and brought to, well, whatever the light side of Gaara is, and, well, Orochimaru has been defeated. I see no reason why Orochimaru makes another attempt at Sasuke's life yet. So, at this moment, he's instead looking at the other Uchiha who still lives, Itachi Uchiha, as this would be around the time where he's actually going to join the Akatsuki. With that being said, I see no pushes from Orochimaru, which means that we can now have the time skip. Now, is there going to be a battle at the Valley of the End? And to answer that, yes. Naruto would be eating ramen in the morning. It was about 8 a.m. and, well, he wanted to get a bite to eat before he started training. But as he began training, he realized that Sasuke was there too, as he would catch up with Sasuke. Sasuke and Naruto would be talking for a while as they would laugh with one another. And then eventually, Naruto cut the laughing out and his face turned straight. Cold as a killer. I'm leaving. Huh? What do you mean, Naruto? I'm going to explore farther out. Explore? You mean, like, outside of the Leaf Village? Yeah. If I want to get stronger, then I must understand the world in which I fight in. I know next to nothing of the history of other nations. Yeah, I know of all the wars that the Leaf's been in, and the Hokages, and, well, what they did for the village, but I have no idea about, say, what the Mizukages did. What happened to them in the Great Wars. Why Konoha is the strongest village, rivaling even the Hidden Cloud. I know next to nothing about politics outside of this village, and, well, yeah. So you think leaving the village is going to do that? Naruto, are you hearing yourself right now? What, Sasuke? I don't plan on abandoning the village or anything. You should have mentioned that. I thought you were talking about, like, becoming a rogue ninja or something. Explain it to me. What exactly do you mean by leaving? Well, I'll leave for a few years and then, I don't know, I'll come back. So what you're saying is you'll leave for 3 to 4 years and then you'll return like nothing happened? Well, something happened, I left, but yeah. Well, why would I let you do that? Fine. It's been decided. What do you mean it's been decided? Cut the crap, Naruto. You and I will fight for it. If you can beat me in a fight, then I swear to you I will stay in the village. If you cannot beat me, then I will leave by the morning. Or by tomorrow, rather. And when I leave, I will not return for 4 whole years. I will get stronger, better, faster. And I will promise to dedicate myself to training and training alone. I will become even stronger than Lady Tsunade. And I will continue to make my case as the next candidate, as Lord Sixth. Naruto. Yes or no? Either I'll leave for nothing, or I'll give you the chance to fight me for it. I'm trying, Sasuke. I really am. You think I wanted to tell you that I was leaving? No, it'd be easier for me to just run away. Disappear for a few years. Of course, I'd tell Lady Tsunade because I'd have to. I'm the Jinchuriki, goddammit. Anyway, I'm giving you a chance here and now to accept the battle. To fight me. I'm giving you a chance to beat me, and if you win, then I stay. Fine. Fine. Sasuke looked down to the ground. As Naruto turned around, his back now facing Sasuke. The Valley of the End. The one near the outskirts of the village. Come alone. And before 6 p.m. Naruto would disappear. It would be here that he collected kunai, shuriken, and even paper bombs, putting them all into his ninja pouch. He was ready for battle. The rest of the time before the fight, he spent his time meditating. Not in the Hidden Leaf Village, but right outside of it, as he slowly made his way to the Valley of the End, sitting down and beginning to meditate there too. Sasuke then arrived, and as promised, he came with no one. Alone with his blade. Since, well, what was a shinobi without their blade? Without an extension of their will to carry them through battle? With that, Sasuke implanted his blade into the ground, standing on that of his, of his very own clansman's statue, Madara Uchiha, as Naruto stood on, his own counterpart, Hashirama Senju, the god of shinobi. They looked at each other. Sasuke and Naruto both frowned. They didn't want it to be like this. Naruto sure as hell didn't, and Sasuke didn't want to fight Naruto. But he knew that he was going to go for the kill. And Naruto knew that he was going to do everything to leave. Because he knew that if he didn't leave, then he'd never get stronger. He had learned so much in the Hidden Leaf Village, but if he did not get stronger mentally, if he didn't do that, if he didn't understand the ninja world, just like Tsunade and Hiruzen and Minato and the Hokages of the village knew and understood the world, then how would he ever be seen as a good fit for the position? He knew that he was young. He knew that the moment that he began his Hokage campaign, that people would look and laugh at him. That people would berate him for trying. That people would, see him as just another child with the dream of becoming Hokage. 1 in 1,000. They would see him as just another person with the dream. But Naruto, he wanted different. And he knew to do that, he would have to not only extend his name far beyond the borders of the Land of Fire, but into other ninja villages, to other nations. He knew that he would have to make a name for himself in these places. That he would have to spread the tale of Uzumaki Naruto throughout these lands. Through good or bad deeds. He would have to become infamous. Just like Tsunade was a Sannin. Just like Hiruzen was the strongest of the Kage and Tobirama's successor. Just like Hashirama was the god of shinobi. Tobirama, the genius Hokage, who even created the Anbu and the Chunin exams, let alone the Ninja Academy. He would have to become infamous like even his own father, Minato Namikaze, the Yellow Flash. he would have to become someone that invoked fear the moment they stepped forward. Someone who was unrelenting in conviction, in will, in power. Someone who could not be stopped by mere words. Someone who had no fear. And so, Naruto and Sasuke would bow to one another. The respect they hold, well, for each other is insane. It is an immense respect, reserved for the greatest of shinobi in their hearts. And to them, they were like brothers, and well, they still are. Naruto grabbed a kunai from his ninja pouch, as he then pulled out a paper bomb as well, throwing it into the air as high as he could. As it slowly glided through the air, just when it was at the level of meeting Naruto and Sasuke's eyes, he activated the paper bomb and exploded it. Naruto would jump at Sasuke, going right through the smoke, but of course Sasuke anticipated this, without even needing his Sharingan to be active. Sasuke would clash with Naruto in the air, sword to kunai, as he would push his blade, and well, since his blade was far bigger than the kunai, it would push Naruto back, causing them to both catapult off of each other and land back on the same statues of Madara and Hashirama. It would be here that they clashed just like this, many times over. About 100 times, to be exact. Oddly specific, but, well, it's the truth. Eventually, they both decided to jump down, closer to, well, the river, on the same level of it, actually. Their feet now soaked by the water beneath them. Their eye contact became strong. They were watching one another, and at this point, Sasuke's 3 Tomoe had now been active. And Naruto was using his 1 Kuroime. Naruto then spoke. "Sasuke, this could go on for days, hours. Believe me, I know I'm strong enough to defeat you. Easily. Fine, then come at me. Prove it to me. Show me that you're not just all talk, Naruto, huh? Because we've been fighting here for hours, and it seems to me like you're a no-show. We've been even this whole fight. So unless you want to tap into some more of that Kuroime power, then I'm not buying a single word you say." Naruto grit his teeth. The 3 Kuroime would then appear. "Sasuke, I know. You're gonna run towards me. You're gonna try to kick my ass. I'm gonna dodge, or I'm gonna counterattack, and then we're just gonna keep fighting." Naruto put his head down and rushed towards Sasuke. And it was just as, well, Sasuke said. Sasuke dodged, but as he did, he would be sent flying into the wall of the mountain. He would land inside of the wall, creating a small crater as his body hit it. What the hell? What did he do? As the smoke began to clear, he saw Naruto walking towards him. But not alone, with a shadow clone at his side. See, naturally, I'll be honest, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. I'm clumsy sometimes, arrogant even, and rambunctious. The Kuroime, well, it enhances even my weaknesses to make them strengths. That clumsiness, that rambunctiousness, well, it sparks me with idea. And me being so blunt and sometimes even borderline stupid, well, it changes that into rather, well, maybe not logical or rather smart like say on a test, but it sure as hell gives me the battle sense. The battle smarts, the combat smarts. I anticipated that you would dodge because you saw my attack coming. You read it like a book that you had seen 100 times over. But the problem with you telling me that was that you hadn't accounted for if, well, I had a shadow clone. And so I just did what I thought was best. Create a shadow clone that would hit you as you dodged. Hit you just hard enough to send you into the mountain. And just hard enough so that you wouldn't be able to react to this. Naruto then slowly walked backwards, as Sasuke was curious as to what Naruto was doing. But as the distance began to grow further and further away, Sasuke began to think to himself, did Naruto believe that he had won? The fight was barely over. He still hadn't bled, and neither had Naruto. Scuffed and scratched, maybe, but neither one of them had even... Well, you get the point. And so he stood up, dusting himself off, as he began to see a chakra form in Naruto's hand, and he knew that this was the Rasengan. The deadly technique said to rival the Chidori. But Sasuke wouldn't allow Naruto to best him. Not with a technique that they learned side by side. Not with the Rasengan. And so he created, or rather activated, the Chidori. But in this moment, he would create a version of the Chidori even stronger than the Chidori. By expanding instead of condensing the lightning chakra, he was able to create an armor of lightning around his body and increase the range of his Chidori. He called this a Chidori massacre. The hand signs had now been formed as the lightning appeared around him. Chidori massacre, Sasuke would say, rushing towards Naruto, as Naruto had now made his Rasengan whole. They would clash as the surrounding attack would engulf them both in chakra. And after the chakra dispersed and the explosion had been diminished, after their attacks had cancelled out one another, the man who stood victorious of this battle was Uzumaki Naruto. The man with dreams of becoming Lord Sixth. He now looked down at Sasuke. Sasuke, who was now bleeding from his mouth. Sasuke, whose arms and hands were now charred. It had seemed that although he had created a lightning armor around himself, causing the Chidori to expand rather than condense, made it so that the bursts of electricity were uncontrolled. And some of those bursts ended up hitting him and even breaking through the armor that was meant to protect him. This caused his arms and hands to now be charred, as they were even, well, red at sight. Naruto said nothing, and Sasuke said nothing as they looked at one another. They knew what each other were thinking. And as Naruto looked down at Sasuke, Sasuke smiled. You've won, Naruto. I know. And you've lost, Sasuke. You don't have to rub it in. Of course I have to rub it in. So that you know that there is distance between that man and you and I. What? What did you just say? You know exactly what I said. I said, so that you know that there's distance between that man and you. And you and me. How dare you? Sasuke, whose body was still stunned at the amount of lightning that had hit him, would slowly begin to twitch his muscles. Naruto turned around as he began to walk away from Sasuke, but before he did, he paused. If you don't get stronger here in the Leaf Village, then you will never be able to defeat me, Noritachi. As Naruto would continue walking, the job was finished. He'd ensured that Sasuke would stay in the Hidden Leaf. And, well, he had been able to defer from it for a little while, to leave the village in search of true power. That which is knowledge. Naruto continued walking. There was now some distance between him and Sasuke. But he looked back to see Sasuke. This time, he now looked at Sasuke, whose eyes were different from before. Now when he looked at Naruto, his eyes were full of rage and hate and anger, not fluidity. The calm and even at times expressive Sasuke now became chaotic in nature. Naruto could clearly now see the purple chakra, the purple aura of the curse mark. He hadn't even thought about it before today. How Sasuke and Hinata still had those wicked curse seals. But again, it wasn't just the emotion in his eyes. It was the eyes themselves. Instead of Tomoe, his eye seemed to form into multiple different spikes. As if his eye were a flower and there were multiple petals. It was like multiple Tomoe, but elongated. Naruto knew that something was wrong. That this ocular dojutsu that he was looking at was no longer the 1, 2, or 3 Tomoe Sharingan, but instead, the Mangekyo Sharingan. The Mangekyo which Sasuke had unlocked when he believed that Hinata was killed by Zabuza. Because you see, something that, well, you may not remember, as this movie has gone on for a really long time, and or this video, if you're watching this as part 5, Naruto had actually, well, whilst he was fighting Danzo, Sasuke had unlocked his Mangekyo, as well as, well, Kakashi unlocking his once more. And so, well, here he was actually unlocking it consciously, as well. He's obviously still awake and, well, in a good mental space as far as, well, fighting goes. But with that being said, Naruto would watch as Sasuke charged towards him. But Naruto knew that the distance between them was too far. That Sasuke's legs would have to give in. That regardless of if he was standing right now or not, the stun created by the lightning was too much. Anyone's legs would give out on them, even Sasuke's. But Sasuke kept running and running and running. A Chidori now in his hands. But, as Naruto believed, he would fall. And Naruto, who had now turned to now face Sasuke once more, watched as Sasuke fell on one knee, his Chidori slamming into the dirt beneath him and destroying a large part of it, as lightning beats earth. Sasuke then grit his teeth looking at Naruto. Naruto could see the anger again, but he could also see flames, black flames sprouting from the eyes, rushing towards Naruto. Naruto looked at the flames as he realized that something was off about them, and so he ran. He ran as fast as he could, as the Amaterasu flames chased him. Naruto circled Sasuke as he told Sasuke to end the jutsu, that their fight would be unfinished if he didn't, that he would have to leave the village, and they would never know the true victor. But Sasuke said nothing. He told Naruto he would do no such thing, that he would not diminish the jutsu. And so Naruto faced it. He faced the jutsu head on, as his body would be engulfed in the flames of the Amaterasu, the flames that burn for 10 days and 10 nights. And as he felt its burn, he would scream in pain, for all to hear. His screams ignited the valley with echo. Naruto screamed. It was as if the pain made Naruto transform into something he wasn't. The pain that he was feeling made him feel helpless. It brought him to a deep darkness. Something that Naruto hadn't felt in a long time. He felt as if he had no power, as if he could do nothing, as if he was defenseless. And so in a fit of anger, he would roar at Sasuke. Sasuke said nothing, as he nearly went deaf from how loud Naruto's scream was. He could slowly hear Naruto's pain as he watched as Naruto's skin turned red. The flames were clearly eating away at his body and his skin. Soon it would reveal limbs, or Naruto would die. But this was the Naruto who had tamed some of the Nine Tails. This was the Naruto who had went toe-to-toe with Hinata Hyuga. This was the Naruto who had defeated Danzo, Haku, Zabuza, Torne, and Fu Yamanaka, as well as Yugao Yuzuki, all by himself. This was the Naruto that had made villages within the Land of Fire fear him. This was the very same Naruto that had destroyed his competition within the tuning exams until he faced someone who could quite literally dispel his chakra. This was Naruto Uzumaki, the man who wished to become the 6th Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village, the boy who donned 6th on his arm, and he was going to be defeated by Sasuke. The boy who had the Kuroime, a legendary Namikaze Dojutsu. Naruto thought about all this, what it meant to be defeated by Sasuke, how that would invalidate his own dreams of becoming Hokage. As Naruto saw no reason for him to be the Hokage if he wasn't as strong as the others, if he wasn't the strongest, if he wasn't the alpha. Just like Hashirama was the strongest, just like Tobirama was the strongest, Haruzen and Minato, they were the strongest in the village, and they became Hokage. Naruto wanted no different by losing to Sasuke, even if it were by flames that burned and charred his body for minutes on end, for hours on end. And so Naruto would endure. Slowly but surely, his screams of agony and pain, the screams that scared the crows in the valley, the birds in the valley, and the animals that ran rampant. Slowly but surely, those screams turned to nothing but silence as Naruto sat on the ground. He endured the flames of the Amaterasu for as long as he could. But soon enough, his body couldn't handle the heat, and the flames that burned for nearly ever had to be quieted by the chakra of the Nine Tails, which aided Naruto. You may be saying to yourself, Naruto's OP, why can't he just blitz Sasuke and, well, defeat him? Well, no matter how strong he is, he can't just stop the Amaterasu flames. And what is he supposed to do? Fight and just fall back down due to the pain? Heck, if Sasuke wanted to, he could stand up and, well, start attacking Naruto. Throw a kunai at him, or even a paper bomb. But he did nothing. He watched as Naruto endured until he couldn't anymore. He watched as Naruto fell to the ground, as the flames slowly dissipated. Sasuke had done it. Sasuke had reversed the flames into nothingness, leaving only Naruto's body. But Sasuke was exhausted. He had never used the abilities of the Mangekyo in his life. Well, not consciously at least. And using the Mangekyo Sharingan. Side note, I say Mangekyo and Mangekyo, just to be clear here. Anyways, with that being said, and with not using jutsu this potent ever before, and having used the Chidori now already twice, along with battling Naruto for now hours. It was now 11 and their battle started at 6. 5 whole hours had passed of non-stop dueling. That's about a fifth of a day right there already. And they had been battling 100% the whole time. Sasuke had never taken his foot off the gas. And so depleted, so drained, he watched as Naruto rose, as the man who wished to don the 6th as his title stood before him. Naruto's aura was blinding. He demanded a sort of respect that other ninja did not, purely based off of his presence alone. Sasuke, realizing this, stood as a taijutsu battle would induce the two, with Naruto barely able to muster up jutsu due to the fact that he had been hit with such a technique that, well, what was he supposed to do? He could barely feel his fingers, and just by touching them together on accident, it caused him immense pain, as his hands were burned, his whole body was burned. He and Sasuke fought, and even though Sasuke had the upper hand due to the fact that Naruto had been injured by the Amaterasu, it was quite even. Until a punch from Naruto would send Sasuke down to the ground, knocking the wind out of him. Naruto would kick Sasuke in the face, as Sasuke would be sent down, rolling on the ground. Now on his back, Naruto would pick Sasuke up. Sasuke Uchiha, you fought valiantly today. Naruto would now turn Sasuke's body around so he was now facing himself. He stared into Sasuke's eyes, quietly, yet he had a message. A message of love, of compassion, of undenying camaraderie. He turned, or rather tilted slightly his head, as he smiled. You know, Sasuke, there's no one else who I'd want to consider a brother. Sasuke shed a tear. In a time where he believed emotions were of the past, he shed a tear, as he knew that he felt the exact same way. That out of all the people on the planet, all of the Itachis, all of the Shisuis, all of the people who Sasuke had formed a connection with, like a brother, Naruto was the one that he wished he could have forever. Naruto would throw Sasuke out of his, palms, as Sasuke would land on his butt, looking down to the ground. I surrender. I've lost. Now get lost before I change my mind. You say that as if you'd be able to even get me. From where you're standing, it'd probably take you about a minute to get up, and then, well, you know the specifics from there. Today, I beat you with power. I outstrengthed you, I out-chakra'd you, I out-ninjutsu'd you, I out-even taijutsu'd you. Your kenjutsu was good, but not as good as mine. Your movement was fast, but you weren't faster than me. I beat you in everything that mattered today, Sasuke. So now you tell me, who exactly is the stronger of us two? Naruto watched as Sasuke's Mangekyo turned into nothing but his normal eyes. As Naruto walked away, putting his hand and raising it high in the sky as he made a peace sign. Bye, Sasuke. Get stronger. When I return to the village, I want you as my main adversary for when I become Hokage. I want you by my side, brother. Sasuke smiled and passed out. He would later be found by Kakashi, who wanted to know about, well, just about everything. And as he learned of it, he understood. Sasuke was in critical condition. But he also now understood that for Naruto to even injure Sasuke in such a way meant that he was serious. Serious about becoming Hokage. Serious about being the best. Serious about pushing his limits every single day and surpassing everyone and anyone who stood in his way to becoming the 6th Hokage. And so, by that point, Naruto was already gone. And along his journeys already, he had met strong ninja. Or rather, in specific, a strong ninja. His name, 𝙎𝙈𝙊𝙊𝙃. 𝙎𝙈𝙊 had actually been traveling with Naruto, as they decided to travel with one another because, well, they were alone. And, well, they actually got along. There was clearly an age difference between 𝙎𝙈𝙊 and Naruto, but they cared little for things like that. Saw it as trivial at best. And so, they grew a bond. They became friends. And just as Naruto taught 𝙎𝙈𝙊 how to live without killing, 𝙎𝙈𝙊 taught Naruto how to protect himself in even more ways. He taught Naruto how to hone his water release, even now without the use of the Kuroime. And he taught Naruto true power. He schooled Naruto on the history of the great ninja wars, and overall, the great ninja world. Although the wars were, of course, important, he taught Naruto about his own nation, the Mist Village. He told Naruto about the Blood Mist Village that he abandoned. He told Naruto about the 7 ninja swordsmen, one of which he had killed, Zabuza Momochi. He even taught Naruto better taijutsu. Naruto had grown exponentially in the small while he had been with, well, 𝙎𝙈𝙊. But eventually their time together would be cut short. Naruto had heard of a rumor, which, well, seemed to be quite true, that the Hidden Cloud had 2 perfect Jinchuriki. Now he knew that they had Jinchuriki, that was obviously no secret, but that they were perfect? Even Naruto wasn't a perfect Jinchuriki. And the fact that they had 2 of them? Well, it intrigued Naruto to say the least, and he would set out to the Hidden Cloud Village. After about a year of doing missions along the way, collecting the heads of some of the most infamous men and women who led the underworld, and, well, dabbled in the darkest of affairs, Naruto would reach the Hidden Cloud Village. He would jump into the sky climbing over the mountains and pillars that surrounded the village. As he entered the village, he looked around him, and the people were different. Men and women were not all of the same skin color, and he found that quite comforting in a way. People could be different from what he imagined was the normal, and yet still be looked at as normal. He assumed that this was how the 𝘎𝙈𝙊𝙃 were treated as well. So he asked some of the locals who would have been around when the 8 and 2 tails were originally sealed. But these locals denied every such claim that Naruto believed. They denied it by telling Naruto that that was far from the truth, that many of the villagers still resented Killer Bee and, well, Yugito for having the tailed beast. Many men and women around the village still saw them as monsters, even though they had saved their village countless times with their power. And, well, the villager that he had asked would also explain to Naruto that they still care deeply for the Jinchuriki, even though they might despise them. They understood that with the Jinchuriki, they, well, are a ninja powerhouse, at the top of the ninja world, right beside the Hidden Leaf Village. They knew that without those Jinchuriki, they would be barely what they are. That they would not have the same strength and opposing will on other nations. They knew that the tailed beast that they had acquired all those years ago from Hashirama had allowed them to be so successful. And so, the villager explained that they still respect the tailed beast. Just, they don't admire or adore them. They accept the tailed beast for who they are with open arms. But they will never forget what the beasts that live within them did. To their friends, to their family. To the people who they cared about. To lovers, to children, to sons, to daughters. To aunts and uncles. To cousins and friends. To rivals. They will forever remember what Yuki and Matatabi did to their nations when they were released. Whenever the original wielder of the Jinchuriki went rampant, they would remember that, and the damage that it caused. How many of their comrades, how many of their, well, people were lost. And as Naruto finished up his conversation with the man, he would eventually ask where he could find the 2 Jinchuriki, as he would be given a spot. And so he ventured to it. It was where the man assumed that Killer Bee or Yugito would be training, and Naruto just so happened to now meet both of them in one fell swoop. He found the 2 tails and 8 tails training together, and so he drew his blade. He knew that Cloud Shinobi were the fastest of all shinobi, and that they had the fastest ninja alive, the 4th Raikage, A. So Naruto didn't want to take any chances. He couldn't afford to be blitzed or caught off guard by anyone or anything. He looked down on Yugito and Killer Bee from atop a small pillar, as they asked what he was doing up there and what he wanted, but he said nothing. They saw the leaf headband on Naruto, as they then realized that he was a leaf shinobi, and they drew their blades. Naruto said nothing. What was he supposed to say? Don't hurt me? I'm not actually a leaf shinobi anymore? And so he went to battle with the 2 and 8 tails. He would drag on this battle for about 3 minutes, as they gauged that Naruto was incredibly powerful. They knew that someone like Naruto didn't come for the village just to relax and, well, to tour the place. So they asked what he was doing there when the battle came to a standstill. I'm here on business, Naruto would say after yawning profusely. What kind of business do you have with our village? Killer Bee would ask. I'm here to learn how to become a perfect Jinchuriki myself. What? Why didn't you just say that, fool? Killer B would actually be delighted to hear this. He got to train someone? Another Jinchuriki? And he went along with it. He decided to teach Naruto because he respected Naruto's strength. Naruto had fought him and Yugato at the same time. There was no reason not to teach someone so powerful such a technique. And with Naruto telling Killer B that the real reason he was here was to ensure that they were safe and to warn them of the threat of the Akatsuki, Killer B saw no reason why not to train Naruto on this after he had given them valuable information. And with that, Naruto would begin training with B to perfect the Kyuubi. And so he would. And eventually, he would master Kurama Chakra Mode 1 and 2. Although, of course, he does not have Sage Mode, and, well, he has yet to unlock that or add it to his Kurama Chakra Mode. The point is, Naruto would spend the next 2 years with the Hidden Cloud, which meant that he had now been gone for 3 years. He had spent that time developing a bond with Yugato and B, and, well, of course, he had trained with them and even went on a few missions with the Two-Tailed Beast. Eventually, during the last year of his training, he would train alone, in the wild, fighting for himself, fighting for food every single day. When he would come across the occasional ninja running from their village, or, well, any rogue ninja that ended up on the wrong side of Naruto, he would dispatch of them like he did any evildoer, by killing them mercilessly. Naruto knew that, well, now at least he knew, that mercy wasn't always a good thing. That when killing, there should be no doubt in his heart. And that if there were ever doubt in his heart while killing, that he should dispel that immediately, because it only caused and proved to make him weaker. It gave him no strength. It allowed him to pity his opponent. The fourth Raikage once gave him a lesson, which Naruto would think back to. You're the son of a Hokage. There is no reason why you should allow so many of your enemies to live. Because although you may have the ability to grant them mercy, when you fight an opponent, when you are in the heat of battle, when you are rushing towards an enemy nin, if you go into that thinking, oh, well, I'm gonna beat them, but I'm gonna end up sparing their lives, do you ever truly go in with the purpose to kill? For what is a ninja if not a weapon? A weapon to be exercised by its nation at any given moment. And so Naruto survived. He survived a hard year of training and developing his jutsu. Naruto had now managed to master the Kyuubi and progress his Kuromi to a state where it no longer drained chakra from him in its 1, 2, 3, and even sometimes in its 4th stage. Not a big enough chakra to worry about it anyway. He practically became immune to the effects of the first 3 stages of the Kuromi, which meant that Naruto has been amped massively. You see, most of the time where his battles would come close with someone, it was because of his chakra not being able to keep up with the Kuromi. Sometimes he would even practice on ninjas, practicing new jutsu and, well, seeing how long he could last in a battle of attrition. Looking for his own flaws in battle, just as Sasuke once looked for his flaws in training, to help him in real battle. And eventually the 4 years would be up, as Naruto put on a cloak, an all-black cloak, as he made his way back to the Hidden Leaf Village. And just like that, he would be there.
Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, share the video to a friend who likes this or anime content in general. I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. If you're watching the movie, then just keep on watching. And with that being said, this has been Rami X and Rami X out.